Welcome back, chapter 21. She was in her bedroom under the covers, fully dressed, her arms crossed. She looked so peaceful, as if she was having a good dream. After we stopped howling and stomping our foot in disbelief, each of us bent down and kissed her on both cheeks and backed out of the room in slow motion. It hit us that our best friend was in the bed and she was not going to wake up. Poochie passed away. We sank back into the sofa as if we'd been pushed, which was when we saw two envelopes on the coffee table. One had all of our names on it and was propped against what we realized was not a silver vase but an urn. The other one was lying flat and face up, and on the front Poochie had written, "Open immediately." I got up, sleepwalked back into my bedroom. "Poochie," I whispered. Back into her bedroom, excuse me. "Poochie," I whispered and touched her hand, which was not soft or warm. "I wish you had told us how bad it was, sweetheart. We would have helped you take baby steps. You didn't have to go through this by yourself. We were your sisters, Poochie. We will always be your sisters." "Come on back out here with us," Sadie said, and I felt her wrap her arms around my waist. Then she took me by the hand and walked me back out of the living room. She closed the door behind her. "Leave it open," I said. "She needs to know we're out here." Sadie did, and then she went out into the hallway and called for help. The rest of us were staring at the envelopes. "I think we should open that one now," Lucky said, pointing to the one lying flat, "because whatever it is important." And she picked it up and opened it. "Don't read it out loud," Cole said, "please." I was shaking my head in agreement. Lucky read it to herself, then slowly and methodically folded the paper and slid it back inside the envelope. "She wants to be cremated tomorrow. She has already made arrangements, and she does not want a memorial service." We were quiet, trying to process what we just heard, wishing we could go into that bedroom and ask Poochie if she was sure about this. "Did it say where she wants her ashes?" Sadie asked. She was standing in a doorway, which none of us heard open or close. She was used to being around the dead from all her hospital visits. But Poochie was her friend, and I resented the matter-of-fact way she was handling this at first, but the reality was that Sadie was the only one who could think or move. So we were grateful she was able to do what we couldn't. We looked at Lucky. She didn't say. Lucky said, "I know where," was all I said. Oh. None of us wanted to open the other envelope, and it took us 2 days to get the courage and another 2 to gather our bearings. Sadie had agreed to keep Poochie's ashes at her place until we went on the cruise, and none of us had any objections. That's why she paid for everything. Oh, I couldn't do it. I just couldn't. We met at my house because I didn't know when we'd ever be able to go back up to Lucky's house again. No one was really hungry, but I ordered Chinese anyway. "I'm not hungry," Lucky said, which was the first time I'd ever heard her say that. "But you all go ahead, I'll wait." And then one after the other, we shook our heads because we couldn't swallow our grief. I got up and threw the entire bag in the trash. We just sat at the dining room table and folded our hands in our laps. Lucky opened the envelope and unfolded the single piece of paper. We could all see Poochie had typed this on the computer, just like her, so efficient. We all took a deep breath and made ourselves blow it out slowly. "I'm sorry, Lo, Cole, Sadie, and Lucky, and I hope you know I didn't do this to hurt any of you. I have not been honest about a lot of things. I have been battling colon cancer for quite some time. Remember our first dinner after Carl's passing when I lectured you, huzzy, about taking care of yourselves? I knew then, but I didn't want to scare you all, and I didn't want you to feel sorry for me. I invited you all to Las Vegas, sort of a last hoorah. When I learned I was going to have both knees replaced and then my hip went out too, I knew I was not going to be able to withstand all of it, and I couldn't. But now this. I am at peace now, and I don't feel any pain. But you huzzies are still very much alive, and I am begging each of you to please, please, please give everything you've got to taking the best care possible of yourself and of each other for the rest of your lives. It does not have to be all downhill from here. So put in fourth gear and floor it. Love, Poochie. P.S. Check your cruise tickets. Bring a friend. We could not move. We swallowed her words, and we all had smiles on our faces. When I stood up, I felt lighter, much lighter, and from the look on everybody's face, I was not alone. Wow, she had cancer. You will never in a million years guess who came to see me, Ma said. I can't, I said, as I held her hand and we slowly walked down a wide hallway to the visiting room. Jalecia. I stopped in my tracks. Jalecia? 2 or 3 days ago. I almost didn't recognize her. She looked a little wild even without those dreadlocks, and she was talking a mile a minute, but she brought me some flowers. How did she get here? She said she took a bus because there's something wrong with her car. We turned into a crowded room where everybody's hair was white or silver. Even the frail ones was wearing smiles. Where should we sit, Ma? See that old lady over there who has the nerve to wear red? You can't miss her. I don't want to sit anywhere near her because her ears are too big and she can hear clear across the room. So just keep walking. The woman waved to Ma, and Ma threw a wave back. Why be so mean, Ma? She's putting on an act. Nobody likes Millie. She likes to swear for no reason, and she's senile as hell. See that table back there by the window? Let's sit there. I like looking at the parking lot. So we sat, and she crossed her legs and then pulled her beige shawl so it covered her bare arms, which I hadn't seen in years. They were golden, and the wrinkles looked like soft white spider webs. Anyway, how you been? I've been better, I said. I lost one of my best friends a few weeks ago, Poochie. I heard. Odessa told me. Who told her? Cinnamon. It doesn't matter. It's not easy losing a good friend. I lost quite a few over the years. Makes you wonder if you're next. I didn't need to hear that. I heard she took her own life. She was terminally ill and decided she couldn't take the pain anymore. I want to say I understand, but I don't. I'm in pain too, with arthritis running wild, but I'll take as many pills as they'll give me just to be able to look out a window. Anyway, I'm sorry you lost your friend, Larethia. I am too. I'd send you a sympathy card, but the ones in the gift shops are ugly and depressing, and I don't want to depress you. Thank you, Ma. So what did Jalecia have to say? She said you're mad at her. Peggy, see? I'm not mad at her. I haven't heard a word from her in a couple of months. She was pregnant, you know. I know, but now she's not. She said with all the drinking she's been doing, she didn't want to take a chance that something might be wrong with the baby. She said that? Anyway, she didn't stay long, but she said she was coming to see you soon. Really? That's what she said. Did she say how she's doing? No, but I know something big is wrong because she has never just come here to see me. She was a little fidgety. I've called and called, but she doesn't return my calls, Ma. Is she still living with that Peggy? Yes, the last I've heard. Then go see her. I think I will. No, so, nothing in your pocketbook for me? She started laughing. As a matter of fact, here you go, I said, and whipped out the latest issue of O Magazine. I do still love Oprah. I left it on the table. One day I hope you will be thoughtful enough to sneak a half pint of Hennessy in here. One day I just might. You know good and well I was just kidding. Are we through visiting? She pushed the chair back and stood up slowly. I suppose we are, Ma. Good, because bingo is starting in 10 minutes and I'm feeling lucky. Give me some sugar. I bent over and kissed her. And go see Jalecia. I think she wants to be found. Is that it? She want her mother to put more effort in? Okay. As soon as I left, I put Peggy's address in Waze and drove straight to Compton. It took an hour and 10 minutes. I was afraid, but mentally prepared, knowing I was entering a gang-filled war zone. But when I turned onto Peggy Street, I saw her black car parked on a spotless tree-lined street with small but well-maintained houses, manicured lawn, trimmed scrubs, and flowers of every color. Happy children played on the clean sidewalk and waved to me as they knew me. I was ashamed of myself for believing what I now knew was a stereotype. I didn't see Jalecia's car. I dialed Peggy's number. She answered on the first ring. If you're looking for your daughter, she's in the hospital, right there in Pasadena. I thought you would know, since you're her next of kin. What's she doing in the hospital, Peggy? Is she okay? Why didn't you call me? What's wrong with her? She's depressed, Laretha. Clinically depressed. It's a good thing you got her that insurance. What hospital? Huntington. You can be there in 10 minutes. No, I can't. Why not? Where are you? I'm outside your apartment building. Took you long enough to finally get out here. Oh, come on up. Come on up the stairs. I'm in apartment C. I look a mess because I wasn't expecting company, so please don't judge me. I'm retired. Did Jalecia call you? The hospital did. Why didn't they call me? I'm her fucking mother, Peggy. I guess she gave them my number. Don't start tripping over that right now, would you please? This hurt. I'm her mother, not this bitch. Then why didn't you call to tell me, Peggy? Slow your roll, Aretha. Maybe check your messages. She hung up. I looked down at my phone. I had 2 missed block calls and a voicemail. Sometimes I forget to check them regularly. I listened to her message. Peggy hadn't made it sound like it was life-threatening. In fact, she made it sound like Jalecia had been checked into a hotel for the last 3 days. I called Peggy back. I apologize. I do see that you called. I'm going to head over there right now. She's going to be okay. How do you know that? Because I spoke to the doctor and he told me so. They are treating her for catatonic depression. What is that, Peggy? That's when I saw her running down the outside stairwell and headed towards my Volvo. I rolled the windows down. Can you please open the door, Laretha? I did. She got in and flopped down hard in the passenger seat, then crossed her arms. You mind if I smoke? Yes. No, go ahead. I don't care. First, tell me what catatonic depression is and what does it mean? Then she reached down inside her sweatshirt, pulled out a pack of Marlboro Lights and a lighter and lit a cigarette, inhaling like it was the last puff she ever had. It's a kind of depression that can make it so you can't move or talk, and you can just sit and stare at nothing for hours. What? Then how did she get to the hospital? A thoughtful McDonald's employee had seen her sitting at a table for over an hour. Apparently, she wasn't eating anything and she hadn't moved and she was just staring at nothing. When they asked her if she was okay and she didn't answer, they knew something was wrong and they called the ambulance. And this was 3 days ago? Yes, and she might be there at least 3 more. She's being treated. She'll be okay once the meds kick in. And you're sure she's not on drugs? No, but she probably needs some. I have a pretty good idea what she's going through. And how is that, Peggy? Because she's suffering from the same thing her daddy suffered with, depression. You didn't know that's what was wrong with Anthony. No, I just thought he was moody and he drank too much and liked drugs. But when he was sober, he was upbeat, which was when I liked him. Well, he didn't drink and do that other mess just to get high, Loretha. How do you know that? He was self-medicating. It runs in our family, but back in the day, there was no name for it. I did the same, but I got tired of feeling purple inside and drugs didn't help. So I checked myself into a place with a ghetto plan just for folks like me. I was a mess. Jalecia reminds me so much of myself back then. It explains things. Now I understand why Peggy is like that. But still, she could have told Lo what the deal was. I was shocked to hear this, but I was also grateful for her honesty. Well, I just want to make sure my daughter gets the help she needs. Well, let me say this, Loretha. She doesn't realize she's treating you badly because she's sick. I didn't speak to our parents for over a year. They pissed me off, but I couldn't tell you why. I would disappear and they couldn't find me. And back then, we didn't have cell phones. I liked knowing they were worried about me. But Jalecia is not doing this intentionally to hurt you. Right now, I'm not worried about me. It's my daughter I want to help. Then wait until after she comes home. I want her to come live with me after she's released. I don't know if that would be such a good idea. How can you say that? Because Jalecia is up and down, angry, and I don't know why, but I know she seems to like taking it out on you. She needs a psychiatrist to prescribe the right medication to help her think clearly and not feel hopeless, and a psychiatrist that will help her, psychologist that will help her talk about her feelings, her thoughts. She can talk to me. I'll listen. You might judge. No, I won't. Loved ones always say that. Take it from someone who knows. I know you didn't do anything to abuse her, but she might think you did. I know she believes you favored her brother. Maybe I did, but Jackson never gave me any trouble. I was surprised to hear myself say that because I never really admitted it. In fact, I'd always denied it. I'll find her both types of doctors, I said. But what if she doesn't want my help, Peggy? Well, she can stay here with me until you can find doctors who can see her regularly. I'll convince her it's what she needs to do if she really wants to feel better. She'll listen to me, only because she knows I don't want anything from her. I want to go see her. I will wait another day or two for the medication to kick in. Seriously. Then I'll just try to be patient. I know I've said this before, but even though I know you're not that crazy about me, please trust me. And it would sure help if you could send me a few more dollars to cover food and gas. And Jalecia, your car has been in the shop. Could you do that for us? Yes. How soon? Tomorrow. Good. $300 or $400 will surely help, and I'll text you my account number so you won't have to keep going to Western Union. I drove straight to Huntington Hospital, gave the attendants Jalecia's name and then my name, and told her I was Jalecia's mother. I said I was here to see her, and the attendant asked me for my ID. I gave it to her, and she looked at the computer screen. I listened to her clicking the keys and scrolling down, and then when she stopped, she said, "I'm sorry, but you're not on her visitation list. But I just found out she was admitted and I'm her mother. I understand. You might want to call her later to see if she can add your name to the list. Who is on the list? I'm sorry, ma'am, but that information is confidential. You should call or come back tomorrow during visiting hours. I'll do that, I said and stormed out. Okay, that's the end of chapter 21. So Peggy is an opportunist. She knew this whole time because Jalicia's father is her brother, and they also went through the same thing. So instead of telling Lo what the deal was so Lo can understand sooner, she used it to get what she can get out of Lo. And that part is what I think is wrong. Like, Lo had no clue that Antone, I don't know if I'm saying his name right, I'm gonna just say Anthony, had that type of depression, which trickled down to Jalicia. So she could have probably been getting her help, but no, Peggy had to get something out of it. And like I said, that's the part I don't agree with. And so Jalicia did have a problem with Jackson being favored over her, but there's a reason why. Like, most parents don't want to deal with their troubled kid and be like, oh, the good kid is good. Okay. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. It's sad that Poochie died, and she had colon cancer and didn't want to tell him because she didn't want, and it makes sense why she paid for the cruise and for them not to worry. What I just didn't I didn't get that she took her own life at first. When they said it, I was like, oh, that's what had happened. I thought maybe, her body just naturally said whatever. But I guess the notes should have been a clue. But yeah, that's the end of the chapter. I don't have any more to say. Let's see what happens with Jalicia, if she's finally going to get help and medication to sit down and talk with her mother. So until the next chapter, y'all have a great day. Bye for now.